There are 3 shows this season that look goddamn identical. Lance and Masks, Asterisk Wars, and Chivalry of a Failed Knight. These shows are all part of the sword school sorcery subgenre, which is, in my opinion, a tired, samey shit pit that modern anime just really needs to get over. But let's be objective. I watched episode 1 of Chivalry of a Failed Knight, and it really wasn't all too bad, all things considered. Chivalry of a Failed Knight is set in a magic school where everyone has elemental powers and can summon melee weapons out of nowhere because anime studios still think that's visually exciting. Our hero Ike Kurogane is the worst knight in the school, and we don't really learn much else about him because his very first inner monologue is spent explaining the mechanics of this world. Basically, the students are all battle mages called Blazers who fight one another competitively in video game style matches. The overrunning conflict is that Ike's school, despite once being the top tier academy, has been scoring steadily worse placings in the inter-magic school competition. So high stakes, right? Ike's otherwise boring existence is shaken up when roughly 2 minutes into the first episode he goes home and finds a half-naked woman in his lounge. And then something unexpected happens. Instead of being all embarrassed and all that coy bullshit you see in every anime, he decides that the only way to make it fair is for him to take off his clothes. Finally, a lead character who has a sense of humor about these things, even if it is purely so the audience can project themselves onto his ridiculous abdominals. Hey, this show has something for everyone. Anyway, through contrived circumstances, Ike is now roommates with Princess Stella Vermilion, a newly arrived international student who just happens to be one of the best blazers the Academy has ever seen. Stella is haughty and wants to be the best, but like all tsundere anime ladies, is oddly hung up on sex and can't resist the lure of Ike's comically sexy 12-pack. Presumably, hilarity ensues. There's a few things I really don't like about this show. Firstly, I hate how generic everything looks. Couldn't they think of a single original character design? You've got an uptight girl with pink hair, a blank slate self-insert male lead. School uniforms I've seen so many goddamn times, they're just visual noise to me. The same can be said about the combat, which uses the usual mix of elemental energy attacks and swordplay you see in goddamn everything. The story lazily relies on inner monologue to explain how the universe works instead of showing us. As a result, the show wastes a lot of valuable character development time, just so it can explain why it calls battle mages something different to the last Magic School show. So what did I like? Well, Ike and Stella are somewhat engaging leads. The big conceit is that while Ike is the worst wizard in the Academy, he's so good with a sword that it almost doesn't matter. And he's not naturally gifted either. Ike mentions how hard he's trained to get to where he is. In a genre that all too often focuses on innately special people as lead characters, this is a really welcome change. Stella also has a handful of sympathetic moments that stop her from being just another tsundere. Her obsession with being the best verges on self-destructive. And whilst I normally hate lame sex jokes, watching her go all weak at the knees over Ike's delicious man body was actually kind of funny. In summary though, I still really hate this subgenre of anime. With 2 other almost identical shows out this season, Chivalry of a Failed Knight really needs to do something different to stand out from the pack. I like these 2 characters, but with its tired narrative, generic art style, and no really outstanding conflict, I'm not super certain this show is going to win me over. But, I will give it 1 or 2 more episodes before I drop it. Thanks for watching, see you next time.